Good morning, everyone. It's almost 6 a.m. Somebody slept in, didn't they? Yes. Same problem again last night. Couldn't get to sleep at all. Eventually, I think a little after midnight, I managed to get off to sleep. Then my alarm went off at 4:30 and I quickly switched it off. Woke up again at about 5:15 and back to sleep, and then woke up again just before 6. I think basically you can't burn the candle at both ends, can you? So I guess I don't really mind sleeping in that much. I would have been annoyed if it was something like yesterday, where like the Crater Lake sunrise, if I missed that or something like that. But with me just having 40 miles to do to get to Shelter Cove in 2 days, it's not a massive deal that I've slept in for like an hour. So anyway, as you can see, coffee, a little bit of breakfast. It's going to be really, really tight with food, particularly snacks. Well, I managed to get set off from camp at 6:45, which I'm massively impressed with, considering how late I got up, and I still got everything done. I even brushed my teeth today, which I didn't do yesterday. I just felt ick all day long. But just come up a little climb through the forest and popped out to this view of the sunlight coming over the mountains and hitting this lake. That is so nice. It's probably not going to pick it up on the camera, but that is beautiful. That's definitely a photograph. Wow. Ah, yes. There's a lot of lakes and ponds in Oregon. So nice to see them. Excuse me 1 minute while I take a photograph or two. That's just gorgeous, isn't it? The colours. I just love the colours in the sky. Beautiful. We've just got a really nice light coming through the trees in this section. A woodpecker just flown away. I'm probably around 4 or 5 miles away from the water cache at Windigo Pass. And at present I've still got a tiny bit of water left in my drinking bottle at the front, and I've still got a full litre in the side pocket. So it's turned out all right. I've managed it pretty well. I will say that not being able to get to sleep last night really didn't help, because I just kept drinking. I was so thirsty in the tent last night, it was ridiculous. I could have easily drunk everything I had, but you've got to restrain yourself. I tried to save myself 2 litres for this morning, so I could use about 300 ml for a cup of coffee, and then 1.7 for the 12-mile journey down here. Now I've done, I think I've done all the uphill. I think mainly it's just down to Windigo Pass now, and then you drop right down into the bottom of the valley where the pass is, and obviously fill up with water, and then you've got a pretty big climb coming out of it to do. So Got that to look forward to. The bag does feel real nice and light at the moment because of literally hardly any food in it and not a great deal of water either. So it's feeling pretty good. I've got little under 2 miles to go to get to Windigo Pass and the water cache. So that's good. Just come into some cell phone service, and last night I was working out where I'm going to be in like the next week or 10 days based on my current speeds, and worked out that I would be hitting Bend on Sunday, all being well. So I thought, I know there's quite a bubble of hikers in front of me. I know Bend's quite a big place, but what happens is all the cheap rooms get booked up really fast, and you just end up having to pay for expensive rooms when that happens. So for 20 minutes I've just had my head down whilst I've been walking, looking at my phone, which I don't like doing, but just managed to get myself a room booked for Sunday night and Monday night in Bend. And it's a little nearer the centre this time as well. I stayed quite far out of the centre last time, and it was a bit of a pain getting to anywhere you needed to get to for groceries and eating and things like that. So this time I'm a little bit more central, and we've got a free breakfast included apparently. I'm not expecting miracles because it's a budget chain, but it's one less meal that you have to go out and purchase. You can just walk downstairs, sit down and stuff your face till your heart's content. I love them. I love free hotel breakfasts, even the bad ones. So I'm now committed. That's the only thing we're doing, that I'm now committed to getting to Bend for Sunday night. Just have to make sure that I'm putting enough miles in each day. It definitely means that I can't stay at Shelter Cove tonight, even if I want to. It'll mean that I've got to get out on trail this afternoon and get some miles in. Well, it's 10:30. Welcome to Windigo Pass, mile 1879.8. And I genuinely thought there'd be a lot of people here. There seems to be nobody. So it looks like there's a lot of forest roads dotting off different directions. And we have a water cache. Thank the Lord. Look at that. A sight for thirsty eyes. I think there's even some boxes of power banks and things like that for you to charge your phones up with if you need to. So that's pretty sweet, isn't it? Excellent service. Well, it's just coming up to 12 noon, and from the water cache it's just been a climb through the trees again, mostly a few exposed sections like this one. I think that there is Cowhorn Mountain. I'm not 100% certain, but I think it is. And I'm headed towards, probably sometime this afternoon or evening, the Diamond Peak Wilderness. I was just chatting with a couple of southbounders that were at the water cache and asking them about the mosquitoes, and they said pretty much the worst area is the one I'm headed into right now. They said like the next day basically. So tonight's camp, headed down to Shelter Cove tomorrow, and then leaving Shelter Cove tomorrow. They said that was the worst they've encountered since leaving Washington. I spoke to somebody else yesterday, I think it was. If you'll remember, back in the Sierras when I was exiting, the mosquitoes were really, really bad. Apparently there was the same sort of bloom of them in Washington at about the same time, and that's what people have been dealing with there. But somebody else was just saying down at the water cache that they go on like a cycle, a 6-year cycle, and it goes up and down in peaks and troughs. And they said that this year was the trough year. So we were very lucky. Whether there's anything to that, I don't know, but I can't see why they would lie about it or make it up. So certainly so far there's been nothing like the problem that I had in 2019. There wasn't even none at camp last night. There was a few this morning. I started cooking outside and I had to close the door up because there was a few coming in, but not like loads of them, just a few. Just a nice little bit of reprieve at the moment. We'll see how bad it is when we get up the top here. I think there's a few lakes and ponds which will contribute to the factor. Let me show you this view to the left if I get a clearing. A little bit. There's a big fly landed on my video screen. Nope, it doesn't want to leave. There we go. I doubt it would set off the touch screen, but if that shot's ruined, I'm blaming the fly. So yeah, we'll definitely go a few more miles yet before thinking about lunch, as it's only 12 noon. Like I say, I've got a couple of spots in mind for camping tonight. Going to leave me anywhere between kind of looks about 7 to 10 miles to do to get to Shelter Cove tomorrow. I think the store or the cafe there open at 7 and 8, I think. I could be wrong, but obviously if I can get there pretty early, that means I can get more miles in the afternoon. So the trail is just literally there in the centre of the screen. I've just come through this little gap in the rocks and the trees, and this whole open vista is laid out before me. Give you a good look. Well, that's a view and a half, isn't it? I think that's Crescent Lake. As far as I'm aware, the PCT doesn't actually go to it. I think there might be an alternate route you can take that takes you by it, but the PCT actually goes off, I think, a little more to the left. But do seem to be dropping down now. I mean, some really nice views when you come out the trees. And the water looks really, really nice over there with the little ring of sand around the edge. Could just make out a speedboat. Or a speedboat's wake at least, anyway. So it's about 12:30, and normally I'd be waiting longer to have my lunch, but if the people are right that I've spoken to, I'm basically heading into quite a few mosquitoes, and it's never nice trying to enjoy food with those things around. So I'm on this ridge at the moment where there's a really stiff breeze and there's a pretty nice view as well. So I think I'm just gonna stop here, have a bit of food to eat, enjoy the view, and then carry on from there. I don't have to worry about stopping again, basically, apart from to get water. So I've got that view on one side of me, and then just around this side, the trail's going off straight down there. Just around this side, got the view of Crescent Lake again. So it's not a bad view to sit and enjoy lunch by. And there's a nice little shady spot here as well. So yeah, this will be me for a little while. That's the direction I've just come from. I'm dropping down towards a place called Summit Lake or Summit Lakes. I'm just working my way through this forest, but it is just absolutely gorgeous. The wind's just lightly blowing through the trees. I've only seen one other hiker. There's hardly any noise at all. And the sunlight, the way it's coming through the trees in patches, it's just really, really nice. As usual, I'm just going to shut up a second and let you have a listen. How nice is that? I've literally not been making a noise apart from walking. It's mostly downhill, so it's not challenging much. I'm not having to exert myself, and I've just been really, really appreciating how nice it is. Just thinking it'd be a totally different experience if it was a gloomy sky and it was raining, but it's not. It's beautiful blue sky. I've got some nice protection from the sun, and yet I can still enjoy everything it has to offer. It's a really nice little section, is this? So I've been looking at where to camp tonight. There's a few little spots, there's a few choices. I think whichever one I choose, it's going to involve about 2,000 feet of ascent. But looking at doing maybe another 14 or so miles from here. I think I said this morning, if I can leave myself 10 to get into, 10 or below, to get into Shelter Cove tomorrow, that'd be lovely. I've just reached Summit Lake, and at the moment I'm not being bothered by any mosquitoes, even though this is supposed to be one of the worst areas. I would imagine the little bit of breeze and during the day will be making a bit of a difference. But you can see it's a beautiful location. Welcome back. The time is 4:25 and I'm currently a little over 7 miles away from the place that I was thinking about camping tonight. 7.2 miles now probably, but also just over 1,300 feet of elevation gain. That's the thing that matters. Although at the moment it seems to be kind of gradual and manageable. If it stays like this, it shouldn't be too bad. I've just passed an area with like loads of little ponds, lily pads, tiny little, not big enough to be lakes. Yeah, just little ponds. Filled up on water at one of them, so I'm back up to just over 2.5 litres. That'll get me to where I want to be tonight, and whether I camp there or not, it's basically a little pond that I'm aiming for. There isn't a tent site marked there, but all the comments say that it's a really nice little pond and there's a couple of camp spots there. So if I stay there, I'll have a nice supply of water. If I don't stay there, I'll be able to grab some water and move on anyway. So it's a win-win. I'm approaching the top of the climb. I think anyway. It seems to be levelling out a little bit. There's a few mountains appearing, or a few peaks. I've got about 4 or 5 miles to go yet. I think once I've done the bulk of this climbing, it's sort of like a little up and down on the top for a while, and then the junction that I'm after to the little pond is just as you start heading downhill on the other side. So there's a good chance that if there is a spot free there, it might have a nice view to it. Keep our fingers crossed, shall we? Just come through. It was only a small patch, but it was like almost every tree there had blown over. And it was like a giant had been playing pickup sticks again. There was loads of them. Required a little bit of ducking and diving and weaving. And you see we've got a few peaks in the distance this side as well. And a few lakes. That one's possibly even Summit Lake that I was just down at. Maybe. Not sure. That one in the distance there looks like, judging by the circle of sand around it, looks like that Crescent Lake that we saw earlier. I don't know, I might be wrong. I'm usually wrong. Whoa. Gnarly tree stump. A few more miles yet. Evening, everyone. It's about 8:05 on Tuesday night, and it is it has been day 122 for me. I just did a very quick workout, and my average mileage that I was talking about, my average daily mileage for the entire trail, it's just notched up above 15. Yes! 15.58 miles at the moment is the average.
No doubt that'll change again when I've been in Bend, but I'm hoping that I can keep it around the 15 mark now, if not above. But I have put in a heck of a lot of work to get it back up above 15. So I'm really really pleased about that. I was overjoyed when I saw it come up on the calculator on the phone. So I know it doesn't sound like a lot, 15 miles a day, but with the amount of zeros that I've taken, it really adds up. Anyway, I am camped at mile 1901.8. So I've passed the 1900 mile mark. Also means that I think it's just before I get to where I need to hitch to Bend. I should be passing the 2000 mile mark. That should be towards the end of this week. So that's going to be something to look forward to, definitely. My camp spot is just a tiny, tiny ways off the PCT. Literally like 20 or 30 meters. This little pond. I genuinely thought it was going to be infested with mosquitoes, but there's just not that many around at the moment. I'm sure there'll be some in the morning, definitely, 100%. There's been a few around the tent tonight, and there was a couple around me, literally just a couple when I was setting the tent up. Apart from that, no, not a great deal. I wonder if it's coming to the end of the season, or I've seen a few dragonflies around. I know they like to prey on mosquitoes. Maybe they've been patrolling the area and cleared it all up. I don't know. But I've done 30, just over 34 miles today. And I tell you what, as well, my feet and my ankles are really aching tonight. My ankles, especially. I'm not sure what's going on there. Uh, but it'll be nice to just have a little break tomorrow at the Shelter Cove. I think I've got a little less than 10 miles to do to get down there and take advantage of all the goodness they have to offer, food wise, electric wise, shower wise, before moving on again. So that is another day done with. Tomorrow is day 123. See you then, guys.